Well, just go ahead and let you guys know my voice, if you haven't heard, is about to go out. Not kidding. So we broadcasted the game last night, the Central East and Clovis game for the D1 AA championship, and I hit the top of my level of voice, and it started to go out. I woke up this morning sounding like this. Yes, like this. I don't know what it sounds like out there, but man, in my ears, I'm not sounding too great. It sounds like I'm Batman in a cave or something like that. But anyway, bear with me for the next 2 hours. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try to save my bullets for my interviews. Just kind of ask a question and let the wonderful guests talk. But yeah, so that's what's going on with me this morning. And happy Thanksgiving. This is Thanksgiving week. A lot of educators out there, including me. So this is a great time. Thanksgiving also means football. For practicing during Thanksgiving week, it means you're in a Central Section championship game. Yeah, it's, we say this every time. The years just go by so fast. The days sometimes crawl, but the months and the years, and here we are, Thanksgiving week in the year 2025. Crazy stuff. So let's get into last night's game. Central East and Clovis, number 1 versus number 2. These two teams have been on a collision course all season. We know what Central did to Clovis during track. 61-49 was the final. Could have been worse. Clovis scored a couple touchdowns in the final. I think 3 minutes of that one. The storylines were many. They were numerous. Clovis High hadn't been in a section championship game since 2015 when Jordan Love beat them. Liberty of Bakersfield. They hadn't won since 2002. The drive for 9 has been going for a long, long time. It's been stuck on 8 Central Section championships for a while. This is a team that a lot of people are pointing towards as getting a Central Section championship or having a really good shot for the last 4 years when Deacon Rose was a freshman. On the flip side, you got Central East. Juggernaut offense. We know what they can do offensively. Pretty much score every time they have the football. Going for their back-to-back championship last year, they quote-unquote upset Clovis East. Made it the state championship game, a game that they very well could have won. Going for their 5th straight, or it's not their 5th overall in school history. So lots of storylines. And if you don't know yet, maybe you don't, it was an absolute dominating performance from the Central East Bengals. Just trounced the Cougars. 70-35 was the final. 70-35. And that was the score after 3 quarters. It was a running clock in a championship game. Right, what does that say about the performance? How about 56 combined points from Central East in the second and third quarters? 28 and 28 points in each quarter. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It was 42-28 at half. We were talking, what does Clovis have to do in this second half? And Phil Bonanni asked me, and honestly said, I don't know. Right? Pick your poison. Pick your poison. You can stack the box, try to defend Brandon Smith, right? I mean, your secondary is getting burned by Jelani Dipple at a phenomenal football game. My gosh, I'll get to some of these stats in just a second. But so Clovis decided, what can we do? Let's try an onside kick. Well, you know what happens if you don't recover that onside kick. You've given Central East a short field, and they're probably going to score within 3 plays. Sure enough, Coach Kyle Biggs and the staff, they were ready for it, recovered the onside kick. Of course, the next play, 48-yard touchdown pass. So, boom, there it is, and then that started 3 more touchdowns that quarter, and the rest is history. Brandon Smith, we talk about him a lot, and for good reason. He's one of the best players in the Central Section in the last 10, 20 years. You can go back and put him against some of the greats. The performances that he's had the last couple of years are remarkable. Scored 2 touchdowns on the ground, had over 100 yards. Pretty much expected it. But he had a play that pretty much defined his career in that game. So James Caruso, phenomenal running back for Clovis High. Had over 200 yards rushing, had 4 touchdowns in the first half. So still third quarter with 7:19 left. He actually, Caruso made a long run to around the 2-yard line, 1-yard line. Gave him the ball once, was able to score. Gave him the ball again at the goal line. He got stood up, and Brandon Smith just ripped the ball out of Caruso's hand and ran/jogged 99 yards for a touchdown. And if you didn't think the game was over by then, it definitely was by then. But incredible play by him. Remarkable. And I mentioned Jelani Dipple's evening. The stats that he put up were absolutely phenomenal. 7 for 18 passing. Only one incompletion on the entire night. One. There's one I remember. In the second quarter. 7 of 18 for 341 yards and 7 touchdowns. So this dude, Jelani Dipple, a junior, threw for 7 touchdowns in a Central Section championship game, a Valley championship game. Unbelievable. And no receiver actually had over 100 yards in this one. Ben Harris was a dude. He caught 3 of them on eight receptions in the game. So just a dominating performance from Central East. There's one stat. I mean, I could go over this stuff for the next 20 minutes. There's one incredible stat. Looking at the game stats that I want to share with you guys. So Central East does a great job, first of all, giving me these stats after the game. It's like a pro-level stat sheet with every play written down. How about this? Total plays. Clovis actually has 60 total plays compared to Central East 43. 10 touchdowns on 43 total plays. So basically they scored every 4th play. There were no kickoff returns. I guess the Brandon Smith run. All right, so let's say 9. 9 touchdowns on 43 plays. Remarkable. Just extremely, extremely efficient. A great game. Congrats to Central East. But also I got to mention the career of Deegan Rose comes to an end. Got to his first championship game. He threw 1 touchdown. He looked good. Again, James Caruso had those 4 rushing touchdowns. He was in control. He did all he could do out there. He absolutely did. He did not turn the ball over. He didn't make any mistakes. I mean, I think he only had 8 incompletions. So Deegan, we're going to be seeing a lot more of him, obviously. Obviously, sticking with Fresno State. Very excited about watching his career. James Caruso, the sophomore running back, he's a D1 guy for sure. He is a D1 dude. So Clovis they got a lot of pieces coming back. Central does as well next year. Obviously, they're going to be playing in 2 weeks. We'll find out, I think, next week who they take on in the NorCal playoffs. But Central East, they got a good chance of advancing to a state championship game. All right, so we're going to hear from this morning before I get into some of the other scores. Kyle Biggs is coming on the show. All right. You promised me if they win, he's coming on. He's coming on around 10:42. Driving to Modesto. His daughter's got a volleyball tournament. So we'll hear from Kyle. At the top of hour number 2, we got Brad Rosnowski, San Joaquin Memorial Boys basketball coach. Last Wednesday was a great day. Jalen Green's retirement ceremony. Number 4 was retired. He's going up in the gym forever. His team played Bakersfield after that ceremony. Right? He's like, hey, this is a cool moment. But yeah, there's a basketball game to follow. They beat Bakersfield 77-54. So Brad's awesome. Love talking to Brad. Never too early to talk about basketball, which has obviously started. After that, we're going to try to hook up with Kennedy's Marlo Milan, and he's going to be joining me for the first time. Coaches down there in Delano. Great mascot name, by the way. They're the Thunderbirds. They punched their ticket to the D3 title game, a huge 63-25 win over Washington Union. They're going to face Independence next week. They actually beat them earlier in the season, 21-6. In fact, he was once on Paul Golas, who's a coach at Independence, once on his staff, so lots of connections in that one. And then finally, to end the show, we got Brandon Smith. He's coming on, man. We're going to have a little phone call conversation with B. Smith, head of the University of Arizona. He's actually never been on my show, so excited to bring him on. Great kid. Oh, my gosh, great kid. You should have seen him after the game. If you know how Collegiate Stadium is laid out, there's a little bit of a fence between the student section. People can walk right there, get as close as possible, and then the turf field. And Brandon, he was probably the last player to leave the field. A lot of younger kids were there wanting to, give him some knuckles, and I even saw him sign an autograph. So he's a well-loved player and a legend. He's an absolute legend, so we're going to be hearing from him. All right, so let's go over some of these score matchups, and hopefully I won't cough during this. Just trying to save my bullets for the rest of the show. But there was another championship game played yesterday down in Bakersfield. It was Bakersfield Christian, the one seed, undefeated on the year, facing Liberty of Bakersfield, who went on quite a run to end their season. Well, the Eagles, Bakersfield Christian, took care of business, won 38-16. They were the defending D2 champs. Got bumped up, I guess you can say, to Division I Single A, and had a tough game with Sanger in the semifinals, 16-7, but took care of business. They were actually up 38-10 at one point. I think there were about 7,000 people there last night. So congrats to Darren Carr and his staff. They have sights like Central East of a state title. Remember, they won the same year. Central East won, 2019. So we're seeking a state title as well. All right, so in Division 2, we had an upset. A fairly big one, I guess. It's not like an 8 beat a 1 or anything, but Aurora Grande went into Tulare and beat the Tribe 24-21. A lot of people think, this is Tulare's year. They got a great offense. They got bumped up to D1 last year and got spanked. But, man, Aurora Grande worked them on the ground. They scored late. I guess there was a controversial call I read in the Visalia Times Delta, and something about called an offensive offside where the receiver was across the line of scrimmage. They actually let the play run and then called it. So I guess that led to a 4th and 12 situation, which they weren't able to complete. But anyway, Aurora Grande beats Tulare Union, and they're going to be facing Bakersfield. Identical score of 24-21. Bakersfield came back. Redwood had a lead and beat the Rangers 24-21. So that sets up an Aurora Grande and Bakersfield matchup. So Bakersfield gets to stay home for their D2 matchup. That's a fun one. Both teams, that game's going to be over quick. Both teams rely on the run game. So that clock is going to be moving in that one. So that's D2. All right, so let's move on to D3. I mentioned that Coach Milan, and he actually just texted me, so he's good to come on the show. Played Washington Union. This game was over quick. Kennedy put it on 63-25. So the Thunderbirds advance, and they're going to be playing Independence, who upset Wasco. So the 2 seed goes down. Independence, the 6 seed. Before that, Independence beat Porterville, the 3 seed. Before that, they had a tough game against Madera, 34-27. Actually, Madera had a lead. Independence had to score 2 touchdowns late in that one to win. So we got a 5 against a 6 in D3, Kennedy and Independence. That game is going to be played in Delano. So we got a Bakersfield game and a Delano game. Are we going to have any local championship games? All right, so let's check out Division 4. I'm going to start at the top. Templeton, all over North. This shut them out 41-0. That was a 1 against a 4. So Templeton's in the championship game, and they're going to be facing Emmanuel, the 2 seed. Emmanuel McLean, a remarkable matchup last night. Because the offense that McLean has put up this year, the offensive numbers have been staggering. And they traveled to Ridley, battle of unbeatens, and Emmanuel beats them 21-7. The defense for Emmanuel was incredible. I heard that they had three down linemen, a middle linebacker, and just dropping guys back, forcing them to run the football. McLean didn't have a passing touchdown in that game. They actually scored on a running play to end the half. So it's going to be Emmanuel and Templeton. That's going to be a 1 versus 2. That game is going to be played at the Coast. That is going to be a really, really good football game. A battle of unbeatens in that one. All right, so let's move on to D5. We got another upset. Down goes number 1, Liberty of Madeira. Another undefeated team goes down. Bishop Union goes on the road. I think that's probably, what, a 6-hour drive for those guys? 26-22. Liberty had a 16-6 lead in that one. Bishop Union came back and scored with under 3 minutes left. So number 1, Liberty ran, and I thought they would almost lock to at least make it to the championship. Facing Woodlake. Woodlake is having a fantastic year. Beat Chowchilla 42-13. So Woodlake, in their 3 games in the playoffs, has beaten Chowchilla 42-13, Ruby 31-14, and Fowler 38-14. So that's a good matchup. Woodlake gets a home game. A home champ. Gosh, I wonder when the last time they hosted a championship game was. So Bishop Union and Woodlake in Division 5. Division 6. We got Meadors defeated Boron, and Orosi defeated Miramonte. So that's a number 1 and number 2. That game is going to be cold next week up in O'Neill's. Very cold. So Orosi, Meadors. And last but not least, got to give a shout out, Division 8-man division football. Fresno Christian defeats Emmanuel Christian 78-14. How do you score 78 points in 8-man football? That's pretty wild. All right, I cannot forget Tanvir. Man, I went 20 minutes straight with this voice of mine going right now. So I want to ask Tanvir a question, because he sat to my right doing stats for the Central East and Clovis football game. We were braving the cold, man. I went with 4 different layers and the beanie. Tanvir braved it out too, typing stuff on his computer, doing stats. And for every great play we saw on the field, we were just kind of poking each other with our elbows and hitting each other on the back. But just a great performance from Central East Bengals. All right, Tanvir, now's your time, man. Give me a little bit of a break here. What are your takeaways from last night's football game? What impressed you?
Well, the first takeaway is my hands were absolutely freezing after typing for nearly 2 hours last night. But, I want to just apologize. I want to come out and just be like, Central East was clearly the best team this year. I wanted to be out there and say this is going to be an upset type of game, but they took care of business like they were going to. I said they were the more talented team, and they certainly showed that in the game last night. And we weren't able to really get this off on the air last night, but I told you guys that Central accounts for 48% of all the points Clovis High allowed this season, and that just goes to show how amazing this offense has been. Clovis High's defense was great all year long, and to put 70 on this defense was something special with all of the players that they had out there. It wasn't just one guy doing their job. They had about 6 or 7 offensive stars out there last night, and they all got fed, and they were all playing really well.
All right, so which play out of all of those touchdowns, right, 9 offensive touchdowns, which play, like, were you most hyped about? Like, did that just happen? Come on, guys, what's going on?
Yeah, there's a lot of great plays in this game. I think defensively, it was obviously the fumble recovery into the touchdown at the end of the half. That was the big play. But if we're just talking off of straight shock factor, there was a 70-yard touchdown that Jelani Dipple threw to Xavier Jones right after Clovis High had took the lead by 1 in the second quarter. That I think really reestablished Central's control on the game. They were down 28-27 off of a missed extra point, but off of that 70-yard touchdown, they scored the 2-point conversion to go back up by 7, and then the rest was just history at that point. So I think that was kind of the biggest play in terms of how the game changed, but also it was just an insane highlight play in a game full of insane highlight plays from both teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tim, you do a great job of being able to break down games and watching defenses. Just like the defense for Clovis, like what can you do, right? Like you can't take away one facet of Central's offense. So like it's almost like, yeah, when is Central not going to score, not if, right?
Right. It's so difficult to do what Clovis High had to do. Yes, you can just scoff. Oh, they allowed 70 points and just be like, oh no, they're a bad defense. No, this is a good defense, and they were just outplayed by a really good offense. And when you have the passing offense, the deep passing game especially, I think that's the biggest difference. If they didn't have that deep passing game, you could see a semblance of how this Clovis High team could stop them, because the running game and the intermediate game is kind of, I'm not going to say easy to stop, but you can game plan for it. But when you can hit on multiple 50-plus yard touchdowns and then also have a running back in the backfield that has 15 carries for 125 yards, it is a recipe for disaster. And that's kind of just what happened. The cornerbacks had to basically play on an island, and that was the only way you could really stop them, is just man on man and just stack the box. But you saw that Jelani Dipple was able to get the ball out quickly, and those receivers were flying down the field past those Clovis High corners.
Yeah, Clovis, they gave a safety look, and if any of those wide receivers for Central East is open, they use that slant so well. Some of the post play, whatever you want to call it. So once they catch the ball, it's like 3 strides, and you just see the separation right between the wide receivers and the defenders, like, and there we go. Give a shout out really quick, Tanvir, from your perspective. Deacon Rose and James Caruso, they were just really good football players all season for Clovis High. What did you see from both of them last night?
Yeah, I mean, both of them played very good. James Caruso, let's start out with him. I mean, 24 carries for 248 rush yards. I would say he outplayed Brandon Smith in terms of just individual performances, because if you just look at the stats, they're absolutely insane. 24 carries, 248 rush yards, 4 TDs, but Brandon Smith obviously being the absolute beast that he is on the other side of the ball, not having a bad game himself. So both players playing absolutely amazing. 4 rush TDs for Caruso. He's only a sophomore, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And so his stock is completely rising, not even being the starting running back to start this year. I think Clovis High is going to rely on this guy for a very long time. And then Deegan Rose, 20 for 27, 260. He really started out the game really good. I liked what they were doing with their offense, especially in that first half. They scored, 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, or excuse me, they scored 2 touchdowns within their first 3 drives. And I really liked what they did. They just could not keep up with Central in the scoring department, just because it's so hard to just continually score and not give up a turnover. And they turned the ball over twice in this game. Clovis High had a fumble at the end of the half, and then they threw an interception in the fourth quarter that kind of already had it sealed. So that was the difference. And regardless of what we want to say, Clovis High played a really good team, and they played a really good game, but they just could not score enough points to keep them.
Yeah, nobody in the Central section can match Central East touchdown for touchdown, right? I mean, you can get close, but they're always going to pull away. All right, Tanvir, thanks for coming in and saving my voice for a little bit. I appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, let's go ahead and take a break. I got a couple news and notes. There's some other things happening in the Central section. We'll go for about 5 minutes and take another break. And then Coach Kyle Biggs, let's hear from him. He's on the road right now. He's going to be gracious enough to talk to us. So we'll take a break here. You're listening to the Central Valley Sports Report on 1430 ESPN.
Uh-oh.
Roger Dunn Open. Former Fresno State football coach Pat Hill is at the first tee.
Hey, it's a fairway hit.
Yeah, but that's the wrong fairway, Coach.
I need to buy a golf game.
Coach, I really think you need a Roger Dunn makeover.
When you buy a game at Roger Dunn, you can play anybody, anytime, anywhere. This is the old coach, Pat Hill. I bought this 7-iron at Roger Dunn Golf. Number 8 at Tehama, 162 yards out. Eagle, baby!
Back to Birds, Fresno. Basketball is back in the Valley, and the Fresno Pacific Sunbirds are tipping things off under the bright lights at the Special Events Center for their home opener. Thanksgiving week, the men's Sunbirds take on Cal State LA, and women's Sunbirds take on Stanislaus State. Admission is just $10 for fans 18 and older, and 17 and under is free. Visit FBUSunbirds.com for season schedules, and don't miss the Sunbird Sports Show Wednesday nights at 6 on ESPN Fresno 790 AM. Let's back the Special Events Center and back the Birds, Fresno!
Football fans, it's Phil Bonatti with Behind the Bench. The season is heating up, so bring your tailgate to mid-season form with Grocery Outlet in Kerman, Sanger, and Fresno's Southeast, Downtown, and Northwest stores. Stock up and save big on quality meats, snacks, drinks, beer, and wine. The same great quality, but always at lower prices. And while you're there, enter the Tailgate Ready contest to win 2 tickets to the next Fresno State home game, plus $100 for your tailgate. Only at Kerman, Sanger, and Fresno's Southeast, Downtown, and Northwest grocery outlets.
When hunger's in the red zone, Toledo's Mexican restaurant has the winning play. Huddle up for their new chicken deals starting at just $14.99. Gandos, chicken mole enchiladas, and Sam Special. Use promo code ESPN for an extra 10% off, in addition to reward points and discounts. Plus, swing on by Toledo's and catch all your college and NFL action on the big screens. Happy hour, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5. Saturdays and Sundays, 8 to 10, with $10 apps, $7 house margaritas, and $5 drafts. Toledo's Mexican restaurant.
Attorney Joe Cordell. New school, new job, new home. Change is hard.
All right, we're going to be back in 20.
Okay.
One of life's
Is my level good right now? Is that
Yeah,
my
your
level?
levels are good. It's
Coach Kyle Biggs. There's a lot of good stuff happening right now. So, obviously the championship games next week, Division 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, so we got championships in Bakersfield, in Delano, in Minarets, in Templeton and the Coast. So not a lot of options for us. I don't even know where we're going to be next week for our broadcast. We got some decisions to make. I mean, do we brave the cold? Neil's, California for the Minarets game. Do we go to Woodlake? A trip to the coast for Templeton Emmanuel? I don't know. Stay tuned for that one. There's volleyball state championships going on today. Clovis West. Buchanan and Clovis High were the 2 best girls volleyball teams this year. Buchanan High won the Central Section Championship in D1, and they made it all the way to the NorCal semifinals. But check this out. I just got word right now for volleyball that Clovis West is playing in D2. I should mention Emmanuel is playing in D4. So those are 2 teams that are playing in the state championship. But apparently the times are going to be switched, which is kind of crazy. So I got a message from an administrator for Clovis West, and Emmanuel is supposed to play at 11 o'clock. And I guess the team that they're supposed to play, they're playing Cypress, Clovis West, playing Cypress. And I guess what's going on is something I don't know. They had 6 girls that are going to Italy later tonight. So they had to switch. So they didn't. I guess they didn't think they were going to play in the state championship. They had this planned, going to Italy. So they're switching times. Kind of wild down there. So Coach Rhonda Brown has done an amazing job there at Clovis West. She's actually an Emmanuel grad. Graduated in '93, same year as my brother, or same class as my brother. A lot of really good people from 93. So, yeah, Coach Rhonda Brown, connections to Emmanuel. So, Emmanuel's playing Capistrano Valley Christian, who won SoCal as a 12 seed. And check this out. Their season record is 14, 21, and 1. So they're not even close to a 500 volleyball team, and they're playing in the state championship. They went 1-5 in league. Crazy. Before this, there's run in state. They were 10, 21, and 1. Wild. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, but that's pretty crazy. Emmanuel's won 11 in a row. They're 26 and 16. Remember, they won state a couple years ago. I need to mention cross country is next week. It's always right after Thanksgiving. Woodward Park. Buchanan girls are the number 1 seed. So Buchanan girls got a really good shot at winning a state championship. Really quick before we hit the break and bring on Kyle Biggs, I mentioned basketball is here. We're going to be broadcasting some games, so stay tuned for that. We've got 4 teams ranked in the top 40 in the state from the central section. St. Joseph, defending champs, they are ranked 10th. San Joaquin Memorial is ranked 21st. Bakersfield Christian on quite a run, aren't they? They're ranked 35th, and Clovis North is ranked 40th. So, yeah, fairly high rankings for teams in the central section. Buchanan's not up there. We know what they did last year in their great run. All right, so let's hit a break here. I'm going to bring on Coach Kyle Biggs, who's traveling up north. The guy who wins a central section championship, and then, hey, he's got to go where his kids take him as far as their youth sports. So excited to talk to Coach Biggs. We'll hear from him after this break on the Central Valley Sports Report on 1430 ESPN.
There's only one.
now, and his Central East Bengals put on quite a show last night, defeating Clovis 70-35 for their second straight title, and the school's fifth overall under the tutelage of Coach Kyle Biggs. So, hey, Coach, first of all, great performance last night. You're on the road right now. Where are you headed? The grind never stops for you, does it?
No, I'm packing right now. Our game doesn't start till 3:30, so I'm not leaving till 12. So we're headed up to Modesto for a softball tournament.
All right, so you're not on the road. Good job. All right, so when you woke up this morning, like depending on what time you went to sleep last night, gosh, I'm sure the game was running through your head. Like when you woke up this morning, what were the first things that popped into your head besides I got to get to Modesto and I got to pack?
Just the resiliency of our kids and really Jelani Dipple, man, he played amazing last night. He was fantastic, almost perfect.
Was there one in particular play that you're like, oh my gosh, this guy is absolutely on point from him last night?
There were three. There was the bad snap, and it was a low snap, and it was supposed to be an RPO, and the snap was bad, so he didn't even have time to read it. He just popped up and threw it to Cooks, who was wide open, and Cooks took it for a touchdown. The other one was right before halftime. He bobbled the snap and then threw it to Bayon, and Bayon made a spectacular catch. And kind of funny, the Clovis High DB was doing the lockdown celebration, the seatbelt celebration, and Bayon had the ball in his hand, so kind of funny. And then the last one, it was a 3rd and 5, and I called for an option route on the other side of the field that was not open, not even close to being open, and he throws a 70-yard touchdown to Xavier Jones, who had the one-on-one matchup, and just put it on the dot.
Yeah, and I think that was one of your, I think only the second time you guys, or maybe third, you had been put in 3rd down, and that's, that's a play that, it falls incomplete. You got a little bit of a decision to make. You're most likely going for it, but he put that ball absolutely on the money on that play. It wasn't an easy throw. The separation, I put it on the money, in stride, right, just right in his breadbasket.
Well, the protection was great. That their D-line, Lolo, he's phenomenal, man, and I thought our guys did a really good job up front. We were in empty, so we had to protect. And then Xavier did a great job of beating us down off the ball, and not many guys can run with X. And Jelani put it where it needed to be, and X did the rest.
I agree. I want to get into the game in just a second, but let's go a little bit before the game, setting it up. When you're very familiar with Clovis High, you beat them early in the year, 61-49. I'm sure you poured on tape after tape and note after notes. What were some of the big advantages that you thought you had going into that game that you can really, really take advantage of?
I mean, we knew what we liked, but it's more uncertainty because you don't know what you're going to get. Are they going to run their base defense? Are they going to come out and run something different? Are they going to, match up differently? Are they going to change their front? Last year when we played Clovis East, they changed their whole defense, and we, didn't practice for it, didn't prepare for it. And it's one of those things where you have to adjust to it. It's more the uncertainty. And we know we got to get the ball to our guys. So we got to get the ball to Bayon, Brandon, EJ, Titus, Kevin. We find ways to get our guys the ball and let them make plays.
And you guys ran everything pretty much to perfection. I got the stats from our guy Ace, and I was pouring over them this morning. And you guys only ran 43 plays last night, but scored on 9 of them. The only one, the offensive play was that 99-yard rip and score from Brandon Smith. Just a remarkable performance. But you guys were actually down 28-27, and you're probably like, okay, we're just kind of trading touchdowns for a little bit. We're waiting for Clovis to make that mistake. We're ready to take advantage of some field position or whatever you were thinking. But you guys, scored the last couple of touchdowns to take that 42-28 halftime lead. As far as that first half went, what do you think the key of that first half was, where you kind of flipped it? Was it that fumble recovery that you guys turned into 6?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. I mean, they did a great job offensively. You know, we were that number 6, man. That kid runs hard. Like I'm not tackling that kid, and I can't. Our guys slipped off him, had him wrapped up, and they missed some tackles. He put some. He's a very talented young man, and he made some guys miss, and he made it hard to tackle him, and he made some big plays, and he kept them in that game in the first half. So I knew if we were close to getting stops. We just weren't making the play. So I knew as long as we kept scoring, we were going to be all right. So as soon as they got the lead, it was just, okay, are we going for 2 or are we going to kick? And, we hit the big play to X, and then we went for 2 and got back up 7. And then we got that fumble, and it was like, okay, now let's bleed some clock here so we can score at the end of half and then get the ball to start the second half and kind of get us a cushion that takes Clovis High out of, dinking and dunking and checking that. Like, they got to go out. They got to make big plays. They got to throw the ball down the field. And, that's not what they really want to do. They want to take their shots, but they want to take their shots on their terms. And we forced them to take their shots on our terms when we were expecting it, first and long, second and long, those types of situations. That flip at the end of the half where we scored and then got the ball to start the second half and scored on the first play, that kind of set the tone, I think.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out what Clovis High could do at halftime to try to stop you guys, and I didn't have an answer. And then Phil Benatti, who did a great job with the play-by-play, mentioned, well, maybe Clovis is going to go for an onside kick. Maybe they give it a shot just to try something. And I thought, well, it's going to be dangerous because if Central East recovers it, it's going to give them great field position. Were you prepared for that onside kick? Is that kind of what your thinking was? Because I saw you coaching them up a couple times on that.
We talked about it all halftime. They got to try something, so be ready for it. Eli, our little freshman that we called it from JV, did a great job. Got on it, got down, and goes great field position. So we were ready for it. And the last time we played them, their kicker, I mean, he's the best onside kicker I've ever seen. He kicked like 4 or 5 the last time we played that were all amazing kicks. So we talked about it all week. We knew that's an advantage they have with that kid. So we prepared all week for making sure we knew what to do when they kicked that onside.
And Brandon Smith's 99-yard, and he's coming on the show, so I'm excited to ask him this play. Just his rip and score. Is that just something like, well, yeah, that's Brandon being Brandon. He's due for something huge in a game like this?
It just finds him. I don't know how to say it. Like, the kid is just plays finds him. And what's funny is, he had 115, 120-something yards on offense, 2 touchdowns, and it's like, that was a quiet night. That's a great night. And it's just, you expect him to make a play like that. And the euphoria on our sidelines when he was running down, jogging down, because they had their big unit out there and they were all at the line of scrimmage still, and no one's going to catch Brandon anyway. That was pretty cool to see. And yeah, Brandon, that's what he does, man. That's what he does. He's just a playmaker.
Absolutely. How cold was that? Was there Gatorade in that, or was it just water? How cold was that?
Nah, man, that was Gatorade, and they got me good. I was getting ready to tell the team, keep your composure, because there was a little bit of John going on. And, right when I turned around to tell them that, I just saw orange coming at me, and the Gatorade bottle, and I was like, oh, and I tried to get out of the way. But they got me good.
That stuff's sticky, too, right? It just kind of stays on you.
Man, it was bad. I had to change before I went out.
You didn't have a hat on either. It was just straight to the dome and the beard.
I got my head out of the way. It was shoulder and arm. My sleeve was soaking wet with Gatorade, but I was very uncomfortable.
All right, be honest with me here, Coach Biggs. How sweet was this when knowing that on the other side was the school that you graduated from with the blue and gold over there? How sweet was this victory?
It was extra motivation, no doubt. But it's we just worry about ourselves, man. We try to focus on what we do, and our mantra all week was do our job. We're going to be champions. And defensively in the first half, we were kind of missing on that, but I told them at halftime, we're close. And in the second half, I thought our defense played tremendous. They weren't missing tackles. They weren't out of position on anything. They got a couple turnovers, and they were tremendous. Got some 3 and outs. And then offensively, our offensive line I thought was phenomenal last night. Those guys, I'm hard on those guys. But, you know, Big Tyson Cook, Mike Lopez, Derek Castro, Amir Hollins, and Javi, they were tremendous, man. They did an excellent job in the run game and in the pass game.
Well, looking at the stats, I don't have them up in front of me, but from what I remember, I think you guys allowed 0 sacks, and then you had 6 sacks on Deegan Rose. Does that sound right?
Yeah, 6 sounds high. I didn't think
I think it was 5, maybe. I don't know.
We had a few, we had some big ones. But yeah, I know we didn't give up a sack. And then Jelani did a really good job early in the game of avoiding pressure and running when they were in there. It's like man on top and zone underneath, and we caught them in a, you know, we had a rule breaker on one of our pass plays that, you know, if they cover Brandon, look for this. If the linebacker was that, nobody's on you and go. And he did, and I think that was our first third down conversion. He got like 15 on it. And then an empty, we didn't know what we were going to get an empty, and they did a little personnel change. And they brought a DB in to play man-to-man. So that was like a, you know, just you're kind of poking the bear, you know. All right, how are they going to line up for this? What are they going to do to this? So we went to empty, saw that was their matchup. That was a matchup we liked. So we knew that's something we could go back to later, which Jelani did for a touchdown.
Yeah, Jelani Dipple was phenomenal. Only the one incompletion in a championship game. I mean, it's a legacy game. The 7 touchdowns, my gosh. I'm sure people up and down the state are surely going to see that late. Yep, I mean, that Central offense is going to be tough. We've got a couple more minutes with Coach Biggs right now after defeating Clovis to win their 2nd straight. 5th title in school history. All right, so, you know, you got a little bit of a drive going to Modesto, not too far. And you're going to have some time this week to kind of reflect on what you guys have been able to accomplish. Like, what's the best way you think for people to frame what Central football has been able to do over the last 9 years? How are you able to frame what you've been able to accomplish?
You know, there were great coaches here before me who did a great job, and you know, they kind of laid the foundation. They were never able to quite, you know, get over the hump, and we've been able to. We've been blessed with tremendous talent. We've been blessed with having tremendous coaches. Like, no way is this something I've done on my own. We had great support from our administration. Our community, our fan base is awesome. It's a total team effort. And you know, me being here before and then leaving and coming back allowed me to kind of see and know what needed to be done to kind of what I thought would get us over the hump. You know, it was just made the kids mentally tougher, put them through more adversity in the off season, made things hard on them. So Friday nights are easy, and I just think it's a total community effort to make this team or this school what it is, and it's just been a lot of hard work, and I'm just happy to see these kids have success and be successful, and then get to cheer them on when they leave.
All right, so we're going to find out later who you guys play in state. I hate that waiting game. Probably you do too. We got another minute here. Hey, we got to talk about Thanksgiving, man. I've asked you this before on air, but what do you like to slam on Thanksgiving meal? What do you got?
Oh man, it's got to be the turkey for sure, and then mashed potatoes and gravy.
But you do a deep pit thing? You do a deep pit, right?
I'm good.
What is it that you've done? Do you like a deep pit, deep fried turkey or something like that?
Yeah, I go to my guy, man.
Yeah.
My guy, Eugene Mitchell, but he's out of town this year. So he hits me up with his partner, Jamal. So I'm getting it from Jamal. It's a Cajun deep fry, and it is amazing.
All right, you going to eat that at your place, or are you going somewhere to get that?
Yeah, we usually have it at our house. Everyone comes over, and we have football on and have a good time.
Absolutely, and we'll be waiting to see who you guys play in the state tournament with the hopes of returning and winning another state championship. All right, Kyle. Hey, always great to talk to you, man. Appreciate your time as always, and congrats.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate everything you do, man.
All right, brother. Have a good rest of your day. Coach Kyle Biggs, yeah, incredible coach, man. He sees things that not a lot of coaches see on the field, so good job by him. All right, we'll take a break, and we're going to bring on Seneca Memorial boys basketball coach Brad Robinson. I'll get around 11:05. You're listening to all the Central Valley Sports Report at 1430 ESPN.
Northwestern 13, Yale 31, Harvard 14. Josh Hitzenberger, 2 touchdown runs for the Bulldogs. Coming up, Oregon wide receivers DeCorian Moore and Gary Bryant both ruled out this afternoon. The Ducks hosting USC. Desmond Howard of College Game Day says the Trojans must get their running game going.
Nebraska held them to 21 points because they were able to stop them running the ball and eliminate explosive plays. Then Notre Dame held the Trojans to less than 70 yards on the ground, and obviously the Fighting Irish won that game.
There's late word that USC safety Bishop Fitzgerald will miss the game with an undisclosed injury. NFL, ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow will remain out tomorrow. Bengals facing New England, the 6th straight start for Joe Flacco. NHL, Adam Fantilli, power play goal. Columbus leading Detroit 1-0 in the second. NBA, James Harden, 32 in the first half. Clippers lead Charlotte by 13.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Monday, we look ahead to a huge Monday night game for both the 49ers and Panthers, plus Damian Woody joins us in studio at 7:30 a.m. Eastern. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
One of the most important keys to success is teamwork. Just like the Bulldogs football team, Fresno Rec has assembled a great team of their own. An industry leader in warehouse pallet racking and industrial warehouse shelving, Fresno Rec is truly your full-service one-stop shop. In-house CAD permit department, in-house installation crews, and of course Fresno Rec's sales team is second to none. Whether you're looking to just fine-tune your warehouse and make it more efficient, or you're building a new warehouse and need a turnkey from start to finish, Fresno Rec is here to help. Call, click, or visit Fresno Rec today.
Craving big flavor? Head to Me and Ed's Victory Grill in Fresno. Bite into the legendary Victory Burger, dig into the fall-off-the-bone ribs, or share the ultimate Victory Platter with friends. From those legendary Me and Ed's pizzas to fresh salads, cold drinks, and a warm hometown vibe, every bite and sip is a win. Watch the game, catch up with friends, or bring the family. Me and Ed's Victory Grill in Granite Park, Fresno. Don't miss ESPN's Major Wager Monday Night Football every week. Come hungry, leave a champion. Victory tastes better here.
As of today, the 30% federal solar tax credit is still available for homeowners looking to save energy and money, but it's scheduled to be phased out on December 31st, 2025. The time to call Donald P. Dick is now, 255-1644. Let Mr. Cool show you how to drive down the cost of home energy. The deadlines for installing solar and taking advantage of the tax credits are December 31st. Call Mr. Cool at 255-1644.
Now that you've gathered all your landscaping ideas at the Fall Home Show, swing by Clovis Stone Masonry and Landscape Supply to bring them to life. Hey contractors and DIYers, Paul Meadors here. Clovis Stone is the Valley's go-to playmaker with 6 acres of premium materials ready to roll. Whether you're building big or dialing in the details, Clovis Stone has what you need when you need it. With 24-hour delivery, fast, call-ahead pickup, you can stay on schedule and on budget. Step on the lot today off Sunnyside in Old Town Clovis or online at clovisstone.net.
Ed Dina's the dealer in Dinuba that does. Yes, he does. Hey, it's Ashley Dina from Ed Dina's Auto Center. And if you've been thinking about upgrading your ride, this is the month to make it happen. We're rolling out Black Friday savings all November long. You'll get year-end clearance pricing on every vehicle on the lot, plus top trade-in values and fast, hassle-free financing from a family-owned dealership that truly knows how to take care of people. We're proud to serve our communities, so don't wait. Check out the inventory now on eddinasautocenter.com.
Did you call Brad? Two of the Central Valley Sports Report on 1430 ESPN. If you miss any part of the episode, want to go back and listen, no problem. We got you covered. Just go to 1430ESPNFresno.com. Boom. It's right there under podcast. You could go back and listen to past episodes as well. We're actually streaming live on YouTube, and why that's cool is because the audio is piped in directly from our Comrex system right there. It's a live shot here at First String Sports in Letterman's Jacket Room. So, hey, go back and listen to it and, see what's going on in the Central section. This is a great episode. Just talked to Coach Kyle Biggs. This is a loaded episode. Lots of stuff to talk about. And again, if you're just tuning in, man, my voice is about to go. I lost my voice a little bit last night at the football game announcing it. So I'm running on fumes here, but I'm powering through. We got Brad Wozniacki right now on the line. His Panthers are ranked 21st in the state. Had a great ceremony last Wednesday. Retired Jalen Green's number, the all-time leading scorer in school's history. So great event. We're going to talk about that with Brad. So, Brad, they also beat Bakersfield later. I always forget that part. Brad, how you doing this morning? Thanks for coming on.
Hey, good, Paul. Man, you got me a little worried. I want you to, and you're a busy guy. Your job, you're on the radio. You need to go home and relax the rest of the weekend. I'm giving you the rest of the weekend off.
I appreciate that. And it's Thanksgiving break, right? So, yeah, we can relax a little bit. But I'm going to let you carry me. You're carrying me on this segment right now, brother. I'm just going to say a couple words, and then you just take it from here. You're such a talented storyteller. My gosh, you absolutely are. You're cracking me up. I'm going to get to that ceremony in just a second. But this is the time of year, right, for family, Thanksgiving, some football, basketball is officially here. People talk about playing in the Turkey Bowl. I actually had a student come into my class on Friday. Mr. Meadors, can I get the flags? Because some of my friends want to come and play flag football out here during Thanksgiving. Are those days over for you? Do you have some memorable moments of getting together with some guys, family members, and roughing it up a little bit?
No, never really gotten the football thing. Kind of growing up when I was away at college, and even when I got back to move here for good, it seemed like the Wednesday night was the night you kind of got with all your high school friends and kind of went out, maybe had some dinner, a couple cocktails, and that was really the most memorable Thanksgiving thing that we would do. But never really got in the football mode. But I'll tell you, I'm really excited about this Thanksgiving. My daughter and her boyfriend are out in San Diego. I don't see her much, so she's coming in. She always gives me a hard time, wants me to go out there, and I say it's tough during basketball season. Well, Dad, you like your players more than me, so I get that all the time. You know, you probably get it with your daughters too, Paul, so when you're busy. But I'm glad Maddie and her boyfriend Sam are coming out. So excited about this Thanksgiving.
That's awesome. That's great. You know, the grind is about really. I don't think you play again for another, week and a half? Is that your next game?
Yeah, we don't play, we don't play till next weekend. But, the grind, Paul, is here. You know all about it, being a coach and talking to coaches. We had practice yesterday. I got in my car, went out and went over to Clovis High, watched some games over there. So it's all basketball right now. As I told you the other night, I think it's cold in the air, which means it's get in the gym and watch some basketball, and that's what I'll be doing.
Good stuff. All right, so let's go back to Wednesday. Now that you've had a few days to reflect on it, just like what are your takeaways with Jalen being on campus again and the entire event and seeing some people that you haven't seen for a long time? Just kind of what are your overall thoughts now that it's been a few days?
Yeah, I have to thank our she handles our events more, Shirley Bajiki, and our AD, Frank Pucci, just did an amazing job, and I was involved in the background a little bit. But, it's my first time I've ever retired a jersey. I don't know how many high school coaches can say that. So, it's kind of new to me. But I tell you what, Paul, as you saw, I'm not sure it could have gone any better with Jalen. We had a reception before. He showed up with an entourage, with a lot of Suns executives, his coach, the GM, 8 or 9 players, and his agent was there. So we weren't expecting all that. We were expecting Jalen and his girlfriend and some family members. But from the ceremony to the game, Paul, we really couldn't ask for a more memorable night.
Well, when did you find out? So you were just expecting Jalen and family and probably some former teammates. When did you first hear that, the private jet is coming on and the head coach is coming and players and all that? When did you first hear about that?
Well, we heard some rumblings that a couple players would come, maybe 5 or 6 of, actually with Jalen and his girlfriend, and then a couple players, and maybe the GM was coming. Well, it's maybe 5 or 6 people, and then I'm inside the gym getting some things ready for the game, and someone said, "There's 2 big limos that just pulled into the school." Someone texted me, and I said, "Wow, let's have more." And then out comes these 7-foot guys and these 6'10" guys, and talking to Jalen a little bit, Paul. It's a big deal to get your high school jersey retired. College, you don't see it as much now because of, NIL. Guys go from one to another school, but to get I guess, these guys like getting their high school jersey retired. They try to support, and the schedule worked out great. They played Tuesday night, didn't play again till last night, so he was able to bring all his guys. I thought it was pretty cool.
No, it was, and so I don't know if I told you this, so I'm walking. Actually, Lori dropped me off again. Thanks for getting me that parking spot, but it had to be a quick turnaround. So Lori's my wife, able to drop me off, and I'm going through the gate there, right, and the sidewalks kind of merge, and then I saw what you described. I saw a bunch of 7-footers led by Frank, the AD, coming out of the building, and the line just kept coming, right? It was awesome. And, Jalen was in there somewhere. And you know me, like, I'll talk to anybody. And the first guy leading the way, I'm chatting him up. I'm like, hey, pretty cool, little deal going on tonight. It's exciting. Were you guys able to eat? And asked him about, his, where he played high school basketball. And I found out that was the head of the Sun security. And he looked like, then later I texted a picture of him I took because I wasn't sure exactly who it was. And I thought it was the rapper, musician, Common. I'm like, Jalen's traveling with some cool dudes, man. I found out it was actually the Suns head of security that I was talking to. Yeah. So I had to retract that story that I told the next day to some friends. But anyway, that was one of my takeaways. That was a cool moment. But I want to go back, Brad, to just kind of what you had some very thoughtful words about Jalen, and something that I've witnessed myself. Obviously when Jalen was in high school, I was mainly covering the Clovis schools, but I go to the Clovis West tournament and watch Jalen play and whatnot. I always thought that he was very good to his teammates, right? He very easily could have been the cool guy, right? The future NBA player. And I saw that on Wednesday. A lot of teammates came by, and sharing, he's hugging his dudes and hanging out with them in the bleachers. That's kind of one of the things about Jalen that's just very refreshing, isn't it?
Yeah, and honest to God, I said it the other night, Paul, that during the draft process, I think I heard about, he was going to be a top 2 pick. So I only heard from about 10 to 12 teams because might maybe trade up and get him, Their one question always was, we know how great he is. We know, and, these teams do their homework. They go back to his junior high coach, junior high teacher. They are doing their due diligence and homework on, if they're going to spend this money on a high pick. So they said, listen, we know a lot about him, but what don't we know? And the one thing I mentioned, and you saw it the other night, we had about 10 or 12 of his former teammates. We had a couple come from, one flew in from San Diego, one was out of state that came. They just really wanted to be there. And that's telling right there that the fact that he loved his teammates. He was an unselfish player, Paul. He would, he could have probably scored, you saw him live. He could have probably scored 35, 40 a game, but he averaged 6 assists in his high school career. And that's a lot of assists for a guy that can score the ball. So, really, really cared and respected whether you were a starter or the last guy off the bench. He really cared and respected for his teammates.
And he certainly loves his high school coaches as well. And I got to let people that are listening right now to know that Taco Bell story, man. That was so great. And I took a picture. So you're telling this Taco Bell story that I hope you can tell after this. And I was filming it, and then I turned to the Suns players that were sitting there on the court as well. Those dudes were busting up. You had those guys rolling as well. Just, the love that they have of coaches and the times that you cherish of taking him home after games or practices. But there was a stop that you had to go to before you dropped him off. Tell us that story.
Even to this day, he still eats his Taco Bell. But, Jalen had was living with his mom at the time, and they had a little daughter, and Bree was really busy with her a lot. So it was kind of, I had 2 coaches that lived in Madera, and Jalen lived Herndon in the 99 area. So, they take him home, and I live, Herndon and Palm area. So, it wasn't out of the way. If it was, we would do it. But we'd take him home almost every day, and he'd always want Taco Bell. And it wasn't even, we wouldn't even ask him. Between the 3 of us, we would just know we're going to Taco Bell. And so I kind of teased him. I said, listen, I added up, now you can pay me back, Jalen, because you're in a little better financial situation than you were, 6 years ago, and he got a kick out of that. And I told the story. There was one time where I just forgot my wallet, and he says, well, Coach, you don't live far. Let's go grab your wallet. So it was just a little funny story, and I wouldn't doubt it, and I'm not gonna accept it. I'm gonna send it right back to him. I wouldn't doubt if he Venmo's me something here pretty quick because he said he would, but I didn't do it to get a Venmo from him. I just did it to kind of get a little laugh out of him and laugh out of the audience, which I think it worked.
Well, yeah, it definitely worked. Yeah, if he Venmoed you that money, you'd have some cheesy gordita crunches and some nacho cheese tacos for about a year. That's probably what that case would be. All right, so Brad, afterwards, after all of this, you guys had a basketball game to play, right? So come from the ceremony, and a lot of people stayed for that game, obviously. And you played Bakersfield. I know they were missing one of their guys. Hey, they came out strong, man. They played some really good defense. They did not shy away from anything. You guys found yourselves down, 17-11 after first quarter, ended up winning 77-54, I believe. Just kind of walk us through that game a little bit and just how you guys were able to flip the script after that first quarter.
Yeah, Paul, I really didn't know how we would come out. It was just such a big night. And, I tried to keep things in perspective leading up to that game. Like, listen, it's a big night. Retiring a NBA guy. There's going to be a lot of people in here. But, we got to get to 1-0, fellas. And we just tried to keep that in perspective a little bit. And you know what, I'm not going to make excuses, but we just came out flat. And I'm, like I said, don't know the reason why. Not sure if it was the moment or what. And they came out just ready to go, and West does a great job over there, and they're going to be tough down the road when they're at full strength. So, you know what, we kind of, like you said, we kind of found ourselves in the second quarter, shot the ball a little better, and then kind of, got to our business third and fourth quarter and ended up pulling away. But, yeah, lot to build on. I've already watched film, a lot of things to work on, Paul, and a lot of things to get. We got to get a little tougher, got to rebound a little better. We got a lot of other great things, but those two things we got to get better at. If we can, we can be pretty special.
Well, going back to that first quarter, kind of from my perspective, it's like if we were 16, 17, 18 years old and the gym was packed and there's some NBA guys in the gym watching you, I think I'd probably be a little nervous as well and maybe do some things that, to try to impress them, right? You want to dunk a basketball or hit a fadeaway three-pointer in front of some NBA guys, right? I mean, that would be a dream.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point, Paul. And I think we get kind of caught up in that a little bit and stuff. We had some younger guys in there, and we played a freshman in that first quarter and stuff, Caden Johnson. So, but like I said, we kind of gathered ourselves, had a great halftime, made a little adjustments defensively against them, and I think to me it was just a matter of getting a little tougher on the glass because they really dogged us on the glass a little bit.
I agree, and so you got a special player. I mean, you got a lot of special players, but there's a senior there, 6'9", Parker Spees, who he did put on a little bit of a display. I think he had at least 6 dunks. He had maybe he had 7. He rebounded the ball really well. I thought Sajan Sadu, after that first quarter, really settled in and did the things that he's capable of doing. But let's talk about those two guys and those two seniors and what they bring to the basketball court this year.
Yeah, I'll go beyond the section, and I'll talk about these two seniors being as good as a duo in the state. Obviously Parker's going to play at Irvine. Sajan has not committed yet. There's still some D1s interested. He's got tons of D2 offers, so obviously he's going to play at the next level. So first and foremost, Paul, 4.2, 4.3 GPAs, both of them. High academic kids, smart IQ, coachable kids, great families. I can't say enough about those two after this year. But, Parker with a double-double, and then he'll have plenty of double-doubles this year. And Sajan really kind of settled down and got the ball in the basket that second, third, and fourth quarter. So, it was really – those two are really special, Paul, and are going to really, be guys we lean on this year moving forward.
And your sophomore who didn't get a whole lot of playing time last year, Oliver Waju, Julius's younger brother, it looks like he grew another couple inches from last year. He looks impressive as well. What does he bring and some of the other guys to the table?
He brings a little toughness to us. He's a little different than Julius. Julius really skilled, shot it well, and Damo's, he's getting better at skill work shooting. But he brings something that we didn't have last year, and that's just some toughness, some dog. I call it dog, and he's that guy that is gonna. He didn't rebound great the other night. He knows, but he shoots it too. He's getting a little better. You got to really go out and guard. We play a lot of 5-out, Paul, so you got to go out and guard him a little bit. But yeah, Damo's a great kid. Once again, great family and basketball family. His dad's a junior college coach out at West Hills, Kalinga. So looking forward to seeing his development over the next few years.
No, it's exciting, and your team's going to be exciting this year. I know you guys have some high-level tournaments you're going to play in, so excited to follow your team as always. And Brad, with me, I gotta ask. I asked the Thanksgiving question at the beginning, and I always like to put you in these scenarios. So I got another question before we end this conversation. All right, I did this a couple of years ago. As I know you played some college baseball as well. I'm going to throw out 3 scenarios for you. All right, follow me on this one. Which is most likely right now, your ability right now, out of 10 perfect batting practice pitches, you square up 5 of them, all right, which is more likely to happen. You could hit 20 free throws in a row, or you could kick a 30-yard field goal with nobody rushing you, just a straight 30-yard field goal. Which of those is most likely to happen right now?
Oh, Paul, you're amazing.
Come on. What do you got?
You know what, Paul? I'm going to say I haven't played hoops in a while. I haven't swung it. I'm going to say I'm going to kick that 30-yard field goal, man.
That would have been my least likely choice for you, but you think you could set it down right there at the Memorial Field, and you think you could boot it 30 yards?
I'm going to say yes. And you know what? I'm going to go out and try it here in the next week, man. And see, I'm going to let you know. I might even video it for you, Paul.
That could be your Thanksgiving deal, right? How about Thanksgiving? You take the family out there. You get their iPhones out there, and you record that bad boy.
Yep, I'm going to do it. And yeah, but what a great question, man. That was awesome.
Okay.
That was awesome.
All right, good stuff. Maybe you got to work on that swing, and maybe work on your free throws too. So maybe you can do all three.
Yes. That'd be a decent answer for the year.
All right, bro. Well, always great to catch up with you, man. Good luck. Have a good Thanksgiving, and man, I'll talk to you soon.
No, thanks, Paul. You're a great colleague of mine, but you're also a friend, and I want you to relax next week. Enjoy the holiday.
I'm doing it. You don't have to tell me twice, man. I got to rest this voice and rest my body. You got it.
Thanks, Paul. See you, bye.
All right, it was Brad Rosnowski, head coach of Salmon King Memorial. We're going to take a break. We're going to bring on some more football talk. We got Kennedy coach Mario Milan on the Central Valley Sports Report at 1430 ESPN.
Hey, guys, it's Phil Bonatti. Field. Be sure to stop on by and enjoy some food and a great show from 3 to 6 p.m., as well as look at all the fine selections that Fashion Furniture has to offer. That's Behind the Bench, live from Fashion Furniture, 3 to 6 p.m. every Thursday. I'll see you there.
We started like you, a small team with a big dream to serve the Valley. 20 years later, FFB Bank is still proudly backing businesses across California and beyond. We've learned a lot about what it takes to grow, and now we're using that experience to make things easier for you. With our Switch and Save offer, we'll cover up to 90 days of payment processing, provide no-cost equipment, and offer competitive rates so your business can keep more of what it earns. And behind it all is a local team that truly understands your goals and is ready to help you reach them. Make the switch, save with FFB. Visit ffb.bank to get started. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Summer's winding down.
All right, Paul, he's on.
Fall and winter athletic schedules. Be part of the tradition. Be part of pride. Fresno City College Athletics, where champions compete and fans bring the energy. Back the birds, Fresno! Basketball is back in the Valley, and the Fresno Pacific Sunbirds are tipping things off under the bright lights at the Special Event Center for their home opener. Thanksgiving week, the men's Sunbirds take on Cal State LA, and women's Sunbirds take on Stanislaus State. Admission is just $10 for fans 18 and older, and 17 and under is free. Visit FBUSunbirds.com for season schedules, and don't miss the Sunbird Sports Show Wednesday nights at 6 on ESPN Fresno 790 AM. Let's back the Special Event Center and back the birds, Fresno!
Attorney Joe Cordell. New school, new job, new home. Change is hard and can leave you feeling isolated. And divorce delivers one of life's hardest blows. The relationships you counted on are suddenly gone. But you don't have to walk through this.
All right, back in 10.
All right, welcome back. Just had a good conversation with Raz. Great guy. He's got a really good basketball team this year at San Joaquin Memorial. We're now turning our attention again to football. We got Mario Milan on the show. He is the head coach at Kennedy's Thunderbirds. Just punched their ticket to the D3 title game last night. The dominating win over Washington Union, 63-25. They're going to be facing a familiar foe in Independence, who defeated Wasco on the road last night. So this is my first time talking with Coach Milan. I've watched his teams for a while, followed them obviously, following Central Section Sports. So good morning, Coach. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, so walk us through the game plan beforehand, going into against Washington Union. We beat Shafter, who you're very familiar with as well. So game plan going into Washington Union, how did you guys execute it?
Well, obviously we don't put the ball in the air a lot. So offensively, we were, going to try to set the tone and win the ball as much as possible to try to keep their offense off the field. They've done a phenomenal job with all the athletes that they have scattered all over the field of beating teams. So our goal was to stay on offense as long as possible, and to limit what they could do and try to get into a game where they were going to try to throw the ball a lot and we would bring a lot of pressure, and hopefully get an interception here or there or a sack. It kind of worked itself out that way.
Well, it looks like I'm looking at the box score right now, and you talked to Coach Kyle Biggs with Central. Central scored 28 points in the second quarter, 28 points in the third quarter. You guys scored 28 points in the first and 28 points in the third. So it looked like you guys got a couple turnovers or able to punch it in. Did you guys get some pick sixes, or what did that look like for you?
Yeah, Washington Union's first play from scrimmage, they threw the ball, and Noah Farrell, our safety, picked it off and took it 63 yards for a touchdown on the first play of the game. So that kind of set the tone. Yeah, that kind of set the tone right there, and we were able to get two more interceptions later on in the game by DeAndre Campos. So we were opportunistic, and very fortunate that our offense was able to score several times on a one-play drive.
That's awesome, right? You got a pick six on the first play of the game. That probably got you guys pretty fired up. Do you think Washington Union, I know we'll talk about the physicality of your team in just a second, but do you think they were a little surprised about how physical you guys were?
Yeah, I think so. I think, obviously they beat Shafter, who had beaten us, and maybe they kind of underestimated what our boys would bring to the table in the run game, but we played Hanford earlier in the year, we played Buchanan earlier in the year, and so that's something that we're kind of accustomed to. We don't hide it, and so our linemen have done a phenomenal job of just accepting the fact that we were going to see 9 and even 10-man boxes and to kind of take be the aggressor and own the line of scrimmage, and they've done that. So I think that kind of caught them a little bit off guard. They probably did think, since they had beaten Shafter, that they probably had a little bit easier way with us.
Yeah, it certainly is not the case with your program, especially this year's team. All right, so who are some of your stud players? I know you've had a running back that we followed for the last 4 years. I know I've mispronounced his name every single time, so maybe you can set the record straight on how to pronounce his last name. But who are some stars that really risen up for you guys this year?
Jason is the McCubbin. He's been a 4-year guy for us. He came up in the playoffs as a freshman, had 500 yards in the postseason as a freshman, and since then he's put together a couple of 2,000-yard seasons. He surpassed 2,000 yards last night. He's just been the cornerstone of our program for the last 4 years. An incredible young man. And also up in some we have Jameson Membretta, who's been there also during that exact same run as Jason's been. He's a smaller, scat back kind of kid. But he's gone off and on in injuries over the last couple of years, so his games have been limited, but when he's played, he's done phenomenal. He had a 100-yard game last night. And then our new kid, well, not new, but he's a junior, Christian Hernandez, also surpassed 1,000 yards rushing last night. He had 4 carries for 191 yards and 3 touchdowns last night, which is amazing. So those 3 kids are just all over the place when it comes to our backfield. And then, obviously, our linemen are incredible. They've done an amazing job of getting holes open for those guys with Sam Ortega at the line. You have 2 sophomores on there that have done an amazing job also. Ben Garcia and Gigi Briceño, our center, Juan Barajas. Those guys are just
incredible what they do. They work so well together. Defensively, obviously, again, we got your Campos had 2 picks yesterday. Noah Farrell had the pick 6. Our linebacking core has done an amazing job also, just being really aggressive. And some young guys there with Andres Lara and George Aguilar. So right now, we're really hitting our stride, and those guys are really, just kind of really setting the tone for our program.
So what for those that have listening here in the Fresno Clovis area that have never watched Kennedy play football, I know you mentioned playing Buchanan this year, but for those that don't know their style of play, what's the best way to describe what you try to do on the football field?
Well, offensively, we're a wing T team. And like I said, we will go an entire game and throw the ball once. As a matter of fact, last night we threw the ball 1 time for a touchdown. We don't hide that. Some people don't, that's not their cup of tea. It's what we do, and it's kind of, we've been doing it since 2014, and we had a lot of success with it. So we live in that world of just really running the ball with misdirection and being opportunistic when we throw the ball. And on defense, we're a 30-stack team that moves around a lot and brings tons of pressure. We believe that if we can get to quarterbacks early, they'll make some mistakes later, and that's kind of been the case. So we're really aggressive on both sides of the ball, one in the run game and then on defense in our pressure packages.
So you guys are playing Independence, a team that you're familiar with at home, man. You guys get to host the championship game. That's pretty cool. You guys defeated them early in the year, 21-6, way back in September 19th. I'm sure you're super familiar with the team. I know you have history with Coach Gola as well. So what can we expect next week in your matchup against them?
Paul's obviously an incredible coach. He has tons of accolades. I was very fortunate to coach with them when we first came back to Bakersfield for a couple of years. And so our style on defense is very similar to what they do, being that we kind of got a lot of our defense from him. So, we're going to look back at that September game and just honestly just let it go. It was so long ago, and they've gotten just incredibly better every week, just kind of keeping up with them and how much better they've gotten and their players have gotten. So we're kind of, we're not going to worry too much about that September game and really just focus on the game at hand now and what they've done the last couple of weeks. They're a spread team and run a lot of option, and they're a dominant run team, and it's kind of a little contrast in what we do. Defensively, I think we're very similar with the things that we do and the pressures that we put together. But it should be a very entertaining game. Wide open situation. We're going to have to get to the quarterback. Gunther Gola has known the guy since he was a little kid, and he's an incredible quarterback, and he runs that system. And it's going to be really a matter of how we can, control him and handle him, and along with, their phenomenal running back in Ricky Johnson. So we're excited to play them. I mean, Coach Gola is an incredible person, and I really enjoy playing against him.
All right, so your history with Coach Gola and the quarterback that you're facing. So you said that you remember him running around. Could you have ever envisioned back then when you saw him as a little guy, right, probably throwing the football, trying to throw a football around on the side? You ever envision that years later you'd be facing him in a Valley Championship game? How cool is that?
Yeah, it's incredible, especially because as a younger person, you don't think about kids growing up to be quarterbacks, right? And yeah, he's going to be a quarterback. I remember him as a child. I remember going through flag football seasons where we were out there watching him or watching my son play along in the same area. And, back then he was tiny, he was skinny, and now he's a beast of a kid, sitting about 6'1", 6'2", maybe, over 200 pounds, and just commands the offense. It's really, really cool. He and I had a little talk at the end of our game in September, just how proud I was of him and who he's become, and not to see him in the Valley Championship. But I thought that was the last time we were going to see him. And see him again, and his whole family. I'm close to the whole family with Shelly, his wife, and Paul. So it's really, really cool to be put in this situation.
Oh, that's great. That's great. All right, a couple more questions for you, Coach. Again, thanks for sharing your time with us. All right, so you mentioned you played Hanford. You beat them in Week 1, and then you also scheduled Buchanan. You made it to the semifinals in Division I AA. Just thought process behind that. You coming here and playing those schools, and how did those games maybe even prepare you for your playoff run here?
We came up in 14 when Coach Moody came on, and I came over. And we were Division 16 and won a couple of Division 6 Valley Championships. And as we kind of moved up the ranks, so to speak, in the divisions, we noticed that once we got into the playoffs, we were really struggling with some of the bigger, better teams. We're not physically a very dominant team. And so as we started going down this path and we started moving up divisions, we started noticing that once we got to Division III, the first time we played Division III was against Washington Union, as a matter of fact, and they were physically just, we were in the game, but they were physically more dominant, and we realized that our schedule was not where it needed to be better later on. It was great for wins, it was great for statistics and percentages and all, but it was not good enough to help us to compete. So, we started scheduling tougher teams. Then we got to a point with our success that we weren't able to pick up a lot of games. And so we started reaching out to Edison and Buchanan and the bigger schools and seeing if they would play us. And as we got better, they were willing to take us on. And it really helped us out as we got down the road. And then our league, SSL, with Shafter and Wasco are both, physically dominant teams also. We really have a lot of work put together to be able to go into the playoffs and say, okay, look, we've seen this size, we've seen this mass, we've seen this kind of speed, we've seen these systems, and so our boys have a point of reference now. So, sometimes we'll come out of preseason 2-3. This year we're 3-2, but it really helps us down the road.
All right, last question for you, Coach. And I know it's always good when you practice during Thanksgiving because that means you're playing in a championship game. Like when your family gets together for Thanksgiving, what are you guys doing? You're watching football. You're going out there and throwing the football around. What's Thanksgiving look like for your family?
Well, we set a goal every year in football and our program, and that's always to practice on Thanksgiving. And we've been very fortunate to be there now. It's our 5th time. We made a couple of semis and not made it. But, when the goal for us, and it's really funny, we talked about this last night, when we have good years, we don't even set plans because our hope is that we're going to be at practice that day. And that's kind of worked itself out this week. So we're going to push off our Thanksgiving possibly to Friday, at lunchtime or something of that nature. But, when we're not in the playoffs, I'll be really honest with you, when football's done, it's kind of an unplugged time for me because it's such a haul for us. So we usually just get together with the family and watch a little bit of football and relax, not do too much, because right around that time I'm decompressing. Just get back into the mode of being in the family and not chasing around and screaming at a bunch of teenage boys. So, the goal is always to practice on Thanksgiving, and we'll make a big deal about it as we always do at Kennedy. But when I'm not doing that, I really do step away for a while.
All right, yeah, good call, man. You got to listen to your body sometimes, right? And then you got to decompress.
Absolutely.
All right, hey, so congratulations on all your success over the years. Finally great to finally catch up with you. You got yourself one more game to win, and then if you guys win that one, go get yourself a state championship. Thanks for coming on, Coach. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. All right, Coach Murray on the line from Kennedy. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to have Brandon Smith on the line, man. I was able to get a hold of him last night, and this morning he was able to confirm to come on. So we're going to have a phone call with him. We'll take about a 3-minute break and talk to Brandon about that incredible game last night, back-to-back championships for the Central East Bengals. Yeah, I didn't say Grizzlies once today. I'm very proud of myself. All right, we're listening to on the Central Valley Sports Report on 1430 ESPN.
To join and get a free raw milk drop and protein powder for recovery drinks. 100% A2A2 cream top whole raw milk from seasonally grass-grazed cows, non-GMO, certified humane, and crafted for serious gains. Perform like a raw athlete. Visit rawfarmusa.com to submit today. Find it at your local Sprouts location.
Fall is here and it's time to get moving at Valley Athletics. Phil Bonatti from Behind the Bench telling you about new programs coming up. Starting soon, you can sign up for monthly memberships for K through 8th graders working on volleyball, basketball, and strength and agility. It's as little as $15 per class. Speaking of sign-ups, the great facilities there are always available for rentals, including birthday parties. So take advantage of that today.
All right, Paul, we got him on.
of Citizens Business Bank in Fresno. We believe in the importance of building long-lasting and genuine relationships with our customers. We want to provide you with the solutions you need to grow your business because your success is our success. Citizens Business Bank, member FDIC.
There's only one. West Coast? West Coast Exhaust and Off-Road. Hey folks, Steve Johnson here from West Coast Exhaust and Off-Road. For over 20 years, my crew and I have been keeping rides running rides. From cars and trucks to side-by-sides, ready to roll into the season. Whether you need a tune-up, oil change, or full custom build, bring it to the crew that loves what we do. Get your rig ready for fall and winter adventures with a $100 suspension inspection. Only at West Coast Exhaust and Off-Road. Check out our 5-star Google reviews and swing by in Fresno. Just west of Shaw and Brawley or online at westcoastexhaustandoffroad.com.
I'm here at the Roger Dunn Open. Former Fresno State football coach Pat Hill is at the first tee.
Hey, it's a fairway hit.
Yeah, but that's the wrong fairway, Coach.
I need to buy a golf game.
Coach, I really think you need a Roger Dunn makeover.
When you buy a game at Roger Dunn, you can play anybody, anytime, anywhere. This is the old coach, Pat Hill. I bought this 7-iron at Roger Dunn Golf. Number 8 at Tehama, 162 yards out. Eagle, baby!
At Helena Agri-Enterprises, we're committed to helping you make the best agronomic decisions for your farm.
All right, back
That's
in
why
25.
we combine cutting-edge technology with superior
All right, we're Beastie Boys for the final segment, and we got Brandon Smith on the line. You guys know him, man. We've been talking about this young man for the last 2 and 3 years. He is a senior at Central East. He is a absolute superstar. Won his second straight Central Section title with that huge 70-35 win over Clovis. Had 2 touchdowns on the ground and this incredible defensive touchdown as well. All right, Brandon, I talked to Coach Biggs earlier today, and I asked him the same question, but I'm going to ask you, when you woke up this morning and you had a much-deserved time to sleep in, I know that for sure, like, what was the first thing that popped into your mind when you woke up this morning?
I mean, the first thing that I thought of when I woke up is just that I was just so in shock that we won. We're back-to-back champions. I mean, truly feels great. First team Central from what they did in 2018 and 2019. It really just shows how dominant we've been and how great of Coach Kyle Biggs and the surrounding coaches have been for us.
Was there a certain play that sticks out to you right now in the game last night? Maybe a play that you were able to you know, not only participate in but able to watch?
Definitely when we came out of halftime. First play, drawing through a great ball to E.J. Morgan. That really told us was knowing that if we would have came out and scored, we would probably win the game, which we did, and that Clovis tried to do an onside kick and they failed. So that really and let us go down and score.
Yeah, Coach Biggs and I talked about that. You guys kind of figured at halftime that Clovis had to do something because you guys were absolutely rolling, and you guys anticipated that onside kick that Clovis High did, and then obviously you guys scored on the very next play to open up a big league lead. I got to go back a little bit, Brandon, about how many text messages that you got last night. Right, so I'm sure you got a ton. Like, how many text messages do you think you got? Like 50, 100? I'm sure you had tons of people wanting to congratulate you.
Oh yeah, most definitely. At least about 75. I mean, I'm still responding to some this morning, so I still have a lot left. Definitely a lot of people reaching out.
Well, a lot of people love you, man. A lot of people wanted to congratulate you on that great game. And I got to be honest, I'm keeping it real. Like, I sent you the text late last night to see if you could come on. You didn't respond. I got a hold of Mom, and Mom said, hey, you need to contact Paul because he wants you on the show. So here you are today. So you don't have to respond to mine. Respond to the other guys. You're good with that. Like, what was the coolest response from somebody that you had right now, the coolest text? Like, did some of your Arizona guys text you, or what's like been the coolest text message you've received so far?
Definitely just the younger kids. Keeping me up and telling me how much I inspire them, and for autographs. I mean, that really warms my heart, and just the inspiration for little kids. I mean, that's really the main goal that you want to be as a high school player.
And I saw a lot of that last night. I think you were one of the last ones to leave the field, and the line of younger kids that wanted to either give you knuckles, you probably even signed a couple autographs, and just guys that wanted you to recognize them. They were shouting your name, hey, Brandon, number 2, look over here. Like, how cool of a moment is that, and why is that so important to you that you pour back into those young kids?
I mean, it's so amazing just knowing that you always want to do that. You want to be a role model for little kids, just so when they come and be in your spot, they know what to do and they know exactly how to act and move around. And just knowing that kids really love me like that, I mean, it's important. It shows that I'm doing something right. It shows how I carry myself and how good of a human I am outside of football.
100%, yeah. Everybody that knows you believes that as well. Like, who did you look up to? Like, who are some guys that you wanted to emulate, or you know, maybe some high school football players? Like, man, one day I want to play on that field and play like that guy.
I mean, definitely Jeremiah Hunter and Gary Worthy. I mean, I think I was about 5th grade when there was the senior, junior. I mean, seeing them play, seeing how exciting it was, seeing all the players that they made, I knew that I was going to become a Grizzly, which now I'm a Bengal, but I knew that I wanted to become just like them and get the same plays.
Have you, I assume that you've met Xavier Worthy, right?
Yes.
Like, what does he tell you? Does he know what you can do on the football field?
Yeah, we definitely see some clips, but we didn't really have a long conversation. Just kind of short talk. Just keep my head down, just keep on working, keep on making the plays that I do now.
That's cool. All right. So, Brandon, I want to get back to that football game last night. Let's talk some specifics. So you guys obviously beat them 61-49 earlier in the season. You know what they can do offensively, what they try to do defensively. What was something that the coaching staff was really preaching to you and to your teammates about the game? What did you guys really try to focus on before you played Clovis High?
We're really just focusing on not being complacent. Just because we beat them the last time doesn't mean we're going to show up. And when it doesn't really work like that, we still had to work hard during the week, put up some good practices together, and most importantly, do our jobs. And we'll become champions. Coach Big has been telling us that all week, and knowing that each player on the team did our job, and we became champions. I mean, it feels great.
That's awesome. During the game, you know, we broke it down all through this show. Like, when did you feel like the game was over? Like, dude, Clovis is not going to be able to recover from this. Yeah, we got this. We got this game free. Obviously, still do your job the rest of the game until the final whistle sounds. But what play can you speak to that, like, man, I think we got this?
Definitely the play that I said earlier, right? When we came out. We got the ball in the second half when Clovis High tried to do the onside kick, and they failed to recover. They gave us amazing field position, which is kind of a bad idea knowing that our offense is so explosive, but I'm glad that they gave us that. And Johnny just throws a great ball to EJ, and we score. You can definitely see Clovis High demeanor change instantly.
Yeah, I think everybody could see that after that. I was like, man, there's no way to stop this offense. All right, so you seem to make a play, Brandon, a huge play, whether it's offensively or defensively in big-time games, and you made another one last night. I was able to see the replay when I got home. You know, when you're doing the radio, you only get one shot at watching a play. So James Caruso, number 6, who is a stud all night. He runs the ball all the way down to the 1. You guys were able to tackle him. You stuffed him on the first play, and then the second play, like he always does, he tries to keep going, he's turning his legs, and all of a sudden you rip the ball and you take it 99 yards for a touchdown the other way. Describe what you were thinking before that play and what you were able to do on that play as well.
Just before play, I knew that they're going to run the ball. I mean, James is a great running back. He's very physical. He runs very hard and downhill. So whenever we stopped him on the first down, I knew they were going to come back to it, just run the ISO. And we've been practicing that all week, just a matter of what side they're going to run on, the weak side or the strong side. But once I seen that they ran to the strong side, I just know how to fill over the top because I was on the back side. And Carter, he's the middle backer, Diaz outside backer, and Johnson the corner, really right to the ball and stepped him. And all I knew was that I had to come just hold him just for a little bit, and I just ripped up the ball. And just running down the sidelines, I mean, you can instantly see Cole's high faces just drop. One of the coaches are on the field. You could see him just walking off with his head down. I mean, that was kind of crazy to me. But you can definitely feel the energy on the sideline while running down. I mean, it wasn't really good, especially for a Valley game.
I agree. And it was right in front of Clovis's sideline. They're like kind of doing your run jog because there's nobody within 50 yards of you because they had their heavy package and there are a lot of big daddies out there and there's no way anybody's going to catch you. Yeah, so you could just feel the energy drop from Clovis. Was there anything else running through your mind just like, hey, this is an incredible feeling, or what was going through your mind?
It kind of gave me a flashback from last year in our NorCal state playoff game when I had that strip sack, fumble recovery, and I scored. I mean, it kind of gave me like a flashback. It wasn't as long, but pretty much close enough to the same play. And really that was another play that really just sealed the game for us, knowing that we were up. I think after that we were up by 35. So, I mean, I just knew that really the game was definitely over.
Talking with Brandon Smith from Central East High School. All right, so who had the best celebrations after the game? I saw you guys doing some stuff, maybe some TikTok dances and whatnot. Like, who had some cool celebrations after the game that you were involved with?
Definitely with my linemen. I mean, after my 99-yard touchdown, there was a TikTok dance called Trip Out. And I was severely tired, so mine was a little lazy. But number 54, John Kyle, and also Xavier Jones, number 0. I mean, they came on the field celebrating with me. It was definitely an amazing moment. Hopefully someone got some pictures of that, but that was definitely my favorite celebration throughout the night.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody got pictures. There's probably a video out there as well. We got another couple minutes with you, B. All right, so we talked about this a little bit. You know, you looked up to Xavier Worthy and Jeremiah Hunter, but like, who are your favorite football guys? Was there some NFL guys that you really looked up to while growing up, or maybe some college guys you really focused on?
Definitely for NFL, Marshawn Lynch. As a Seahawks fan, I've been a Seahawks fan my whole life. I just love the way he ran and he carried himself, and he's definitely extremely hilarious off the field. He's definitely a great guy to watch. And then in college, as my younger self, I would love to say Tavon Austin. I mean, he really inspired us younger kids back then, and he definitely had the explosiveness that any player would want as a player.
Yeah, I agree. Well, you're one of those dudes as well, Brandon. It's been a pleasure watching you over these years. Good luck the rest of the way. I do have one more question. We got about another minute here. Thanksgiving at your family Thanksgiving. Like, how big is your family? You got uncles and cousins. You guys play a little football game. I know you're going to have a break and then play in the state playoffs. But what does Thanksgiving look like for you guys?
Thanksgiving is packed. We all come to my grandma's house. You pretty much just, it's really all my cousins, uncles, grandparents. I mean, we're in the house watching the NFL games. We're just eating our food. Sometimes we play some board games, some games. So, I mean, it's definitely a chill event.
That's cool. All right, last question. Are you always the best football player in the house at Thanksgiving, or are there some guys that like to think they're better than you back in the day?
No, definitely I'm the best player. I will tell you I was on a carrier like that. So I'm going to stick with that. I'm the best player.
All right, good stuff for you. Hey, again, congratulations, and go win a state championship, okay?
Well, thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, absolutely. Brandon Smith, he is a two-time Central Section champion, one of the best that we've seen in a long time. All right, that is a wrap. Thank you guys for listening, getting through my scratchy voice, and I'm definitely going to take a big break and rest this Thanksgiving. But thank you guys for listening. What a great, great time of the year it is to celebrate all the great things that are going on. Thanks to Tanvir, who produced the show and came on and talked about the game. Thanks to Coach Kyle Biggs. Thanks to Brad Robsnoski, Mario Milan, of course, Brandon Smith, who you just heard from. Hey, have a great Thanksgiving, everybody. Rest up, hug your friends, hug your family, and have a great time. We will talk to you soon.